All right, now let's think about how do you handle the complex query. And the fact is, when it comes to the complex questions like whether to ChatGPT and Bard and how it behaves, right? So it actually matters, right? Because most of the time you won't be asking that straightforward questions, right? You need some kind of preciseness and conciseness while coming from ChatGPT and Bard, but at the same time it's being the complex query, the nature being right. So it can sometime may give you perplexed answer. So let's try to see like its limits and see that whether how it behaves, right? So if I just go ahead and ask, right, something like this, um, can you explain the concept of entanglement, and suddenly quantum and it's started giving that, and suddenly it has quite nicely put together. So suddenly it's a fascinating phenomenon in quantum physics that occurs when two or more particles become correlated to the extent that the properties of one particle are instantly connected to the properties of another. And that's why I say ChatGPT is the way to go, unless you are looking for something really latest data. And because till September 2021, let's say whether you are in any field, this is from the education field, let's say you are doing even PhD, right? So it can help you with your tutor or your subordinate, or you can pair with, it's like a pair programmer, right? So it depends entirely like how you like to use ChatGPT, and it has done its job. As you can see, this it says that this phenomenon challenges our classical intuitions about separation of objects in space and time. So it's talking about space and time, like how pairing of particles, quantum entanglement often begins with two particles like electrons or photons. I mean, if you are from that background, you can obviously understand this, what it is and what it is talking about. But this being one of that obviously complex questions, for because quantum theory itself is going like anything, and which is being handled here, right? So these are the facts. Now if you just go and see the variations like what is being said here, right? And if I just, and this at the same time, this, if you just put together this question to the Bard, right, what will happen? Certainly, right, it will answer this question, but probably the nature of this is going to be different. And it says like I'm not able to help with that as I'm not a language model, right? So this is again the thing is like it's certainly it's given the limitation out of that. So that's limitation perspective which we will you know uh, you will talk to in the next model itself, but you can make a note of that like it's not a language model, and that's what it is saying, right? And so this is what we can simply while asking that complex query. So with a chat gpt can help or bard can help. So this is one of the factors which can be put together there as well, right? So into the limitations part, which is coming in the next video, but you can make a note of that, right? Now let's ask the same question: can you generate a you know let's say Python code snippet for a simple neural network? And hopefully this chat gpt will obviously do, and let's try this, as I myself also am trying for the first time. And you can see this is use the TensorFlow, because why I'm saying for the first time, because this neural network and all are machine learning aspects, like which you are let's say if you are expert into that, so which you will be doing on daily basis, then it makes sense to use these things. And this is something which is not my field, which I'm doing on daily basis, but it's certainly buzzword which is happening these days, and I'm obviously looking for learning something new. So I will definitely try this bit as well, right? So this is using couple of libraries like TensorFlow, NumPy, and then it's generating some sample data out of that for binary classification, which you can see. And then it's putting the labels with zeros and one, and then it's splitting the data into training. And the best part of this, like ChatGPT, when it generates the code, it also generates the comments, so that any layman can understand and try to get the thing, like even if you are not knowing this code, like the Python syntax, like at least you can make out like what's happening, right? So here is splitting the data, creating simple label. So this is all about, and it has created the thing. And if I just go and put together the same thing to that bard here, and let's see what it does here, right? So I mean, let's give it time for to it to think, but let's see what it comes again, if it says for the language model perspective or it has generated. So it is a simple Python code in a simple snapshot which it has been given, and it has tried to come up with something. And this snippet will create a simple neural network with two input nodes and three hidden nodes and one output node. And this is what it is said, and this is also is showing the GitHub source from where it has taken. And that's what it is trying to give here, like. And there are other drafts to that as well, and you can certainly have a look around that, and if you are interested in that, then you can definitely use that one. Now what I'm just trying to have is here, like, now let's ask few more questions, like, can you simply go ahead and describe the plot of War and Peace by Leo Tolstoy, right? So, War and Peace is a classic novel, and since this is already from the historical perspective, which is already there, and it's trained on September 2021, so it is expected for ChatGPT to answer this particular thing. So, from that perspective, like, it's not that a complex thing for ChatGPT. And now let's try the same thing. From Bard perspective, and this is what I'm just trying to have is, like, what it is going to say, and how it can be, it's saying, like, War and Peace is a novel by Leo Tolstoy. It is the story of Russian aristocratic families during the Napoleon Wars, and this has done its job as well. And since looks like the data is already trained about that, so it is responding to that. Now let's ask few more questions to that, and I'm just trying to put together a few set of questions to both, like, and seeing that how it's coming up, and how it's trying it's how it's hitting its ceiling, like, whether it says that it tends to infinity. So I like to see that what is the infinity thing, and where it's failing at certain point, like. So that is the intention behind this. And the question here is differentiate between classical and operant condition in psychology. So if you are from psychology background, so you can definitely understand that. And it says that put together all the thing, like classical and operant. And the definition is classical conditioning, also known as Pavlovian conditioning, and you can just read through that in case if you are interested in these particular topics. And I have handpicked these topics after researching on both the ChatGPT and Bard, like, and asking them as well, like, what could be the potential things which could have been asked here, right? So that's how I come to the conclusion, like, what could have been asked here, right? Now if I just go ahead and ask some other questions, let's say, uh, can you summarize the main arguments in Kant's critique of pure reason, right? So now the thing is, like, it says, like, Immanuel Kant's critique of pure reason is complex and influential work in the history of philosophy. In this book, Kant addresses fundamental questions about the nature of human knowledge and the limits of human understanding. Here are the main arguments, like problem of knowledge, a priori knowledge, a category concepts, transcendental idealism, synthetic, and there are a couple of more which you can think of. And if you just put together this particular question to the Bard, right, and obviously this can also answer that one, and there should not be any doubt. But let's see what it behaves like. And it is still generating that's what I said, like, and it has also come up with that one. And now let's ask it's another question, and it says, like, can you provide a detailed analysis of Picasso's Guernica, right? So now if you are asking this question to that, let's say, although this is sitting on the pile of data itself, so obviously it is expected for it to answer that, and it's like it has answered nicely. And it has come up with its entire detail of that. And obviously ChatGPT is going to answer that one, there's not a doubt of that. So you can just certainly try that, and it will start generating about that as well. So you see that it has also put together that entire history of that, what is this and how is this. And only thing is that both of these models are generating and capable of understanding and what is being asked and respond to the particular question. But only thing is, in case of bar, where language model came into picture, it actually failed at one instance, like where it said like it's unable to understand that, right? And if you just ask this, let's say, can you explain the process of photosynthesis in plants, right? So obviously it's going to, that's a school level question, and this is what you can, expect that. And this is what, it has, uh, explained in a proper format itself, and this is what it is. So remember, while both models are capable of handling complex queries, right, their responses may vary based on their training data and architecture, and that is the gist of the same. Like, how do you handle the complex queries? And in complex queries is not only related to the complex questions, right? So which you're asking complex query, if you see the limit of this complex query, you should know, like, if you are coding, let's say, and you got stuck at some of the point, right? And you are supplying the context to that chat gpt or bard. And if in that case, if it is signing, then in that case, you can come to the point, like, it's quite good in handling the complex queries, right? Because it sometimes happens, like, chat gpt most of the time solve those coding questions, but bard is not that proficient in handling those, right? So you may check with your, let's say, if you are from software background, although I have already included one of the sessions here in this, like, where I will be coding with ChatGPT itself, and you can just try putting those questions where I have purposely filled in a few of the scenarios, right? And you just try putting those questions to bot and see how it's behaving, and what kind of concise data it is giving, and which can be included into your ID itself, like, so this, that's it. And this is all about, like, how do you handle these complex queries in real time.